All right, all right. Can everybody hear me? Hey, so I'm doing some testing real quick because I'm kind of doing this on my computer. Um, I see we got some viewers. Can you guys comment in the comment box and tell me if you can hear me? And then tell me if it sounds like the ear pods are like working. Like, can you hear me through this? If somebody could comment, that would be fantastic. Hey, thanks, Katie. Appreciate you. All right, man. So here's what we're gonna do. We are gonna get rocking and roll. And just to confirm, like, if it sounds like the audio is through the computer, let me know. So, but it should be good. Hey guys, appreciate you. All right, cool, man. Okay, so I'm gonna get rocking and rolling. I am super excited that you guys are tuning in. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna prep everything. I'm gonna go over it. This is gonna be downloaded up to theyoutube.com, and it'll be emailed out to you today. And you'll be able to rewatch this, or anybody that's not able to watch it live, we're just gonna get you rocking and rolling. So here's what I wanted to do and why I think this is going to be successful for you. So I spend a lot of time with our crew here at Strongside, and we just talk about things that have been really successful in the past, and where what might have not worked, and where we need to go moving forward, and all that. So I'll tell you this: we've been open 7 years. We've done probably 14 nutrition challenges, let's say. And then before that, you guys know I used to work for Lifetime Fitness, and I used to do all the nutrition programs and team programs. I used to give like all these seminars and all this stuff to like hundreds of people. I even used to have my own talk radio show called Talking Smack with Mitchel Black, and it was all on health and fitness and nutrition. Super cool. But a lot of things didn't work. And it took me years to figure that out. And things that didn't work were, number one, thinking that everybody needed to eat or live or whatever very linearly, if that's a word, but very linear. Like, hey guys, you should, eat this amount of protein, or you should be paleo, or you should be vegetarian, or you should be vegan, or whatever. Very linear thinking like that did not work well. I don't mean that it didn't work well in the instant result piece. So it worked really well if people, stuck to it for 30, 60, 90 days, whatever their term was. It didn't work well after that. It didn't work well for the long term. It didn't work well into the masses of understanding. And we've struggled with that a lot, doing like all these nutrition programs or challenges, because our goal as coaches is not to just give you something to go do for a little bit. Really, what we want to do is empower thinking, and we want to empower thinking, and we want to empower good decisions and good habits for a long period of time. That's what we would love to do. That's always quite challenging. But that's why it's challenging for us to be like, okay, here's a PDF template. Everybody go do this. Here's this one diet program. Go do this. It took me a long time to figure out that there is no best program. The best program is the one that you follow 100%. You see all these crazy diets, all these crazy programs where you're like, how do people see success on this? Dude, if you make it really simple and you put enough people in the bucket, you're going to have some great success stories. And it doesn't mean that this program's better or worse than the other one. It just means that that's what's going to happen, right? So what we really want to do with this 21-day reset is look at two things. Number one is that I think we all need a life reset. Like, holy shnikes. I'm so glad for 2021. Just mentally to have a reset of like, okay, it's a new year. I'm not saying that, look, what you did on January or December 31st and what you do on January 1st, your life's not going to change unless you change. Totally. Yeah, absolutely. But it gives you this mental state. It's like moving out of an old neighborhood. Or, for me, I hated my hometown. I was going nowhere. I had no direction. I graduated high school with a 1.75 GPA. I'm actually getting my transcript sent from my high school to actually prove that. But, like, I had to get out of my environment. I had to get out. I graduated in May with $20 and I left in July 5th. And I moved out with 20 bucks and I spent $10 in gas to get where I was going. So I only had $10 left, right? Sometimes you just got to change your environment. And that's a big, big reset in 2021. What's my mental environment? Am I, look at your last 10 text messages, your last 10 people you communicate with, your last 10 emails. How's that environment going? Am I in a good, positive situation to be able to progress forward from? And that's how we can leverage 2021. And I think that everybody should be doing that right now. What are the decisions I made in 2020? Do I want to carry them into 2021? I understand that December 31st and January 1st are not that much different, but I can change my mental mindset and my mental fortitude to be able to change and move forward. This is also a really good time to look at your self-help and your what do I need? What do I need as far as mental health, mental fortitude, wellness and well-being? How do I lose the weight that I want to lose, get the goals that I want to get? This is my time. That's the big part of hitting the reset. Now, with this 21-day reset, the second thing that we wanted to do was not pin people down to what they have to do. We didn't want to pin people down to you have to do the whole 30. I'm going to talk to you about what I'm going to do. We didn't want to pin people down to you have to do Weight Watchers. We didn't want to pin people down to the RP diet. I'm going to explain a couple different diets, but we didn't want to pin people down. We wanted you to be able to pick what you want to do. That's really critical because again, the best diet program is the one that you follow 100%. And being 80% on this and 20% on that. And look, going keto and figuring out how to eat keto brownies ain't going to help nobody. Going on Weight Watchers and figuring out how you can save all your points so you can have 4 desserts at dinner ain't going to help anybody. Look, you're trying to cheat the game here. It ain't going to work. The best program is the one that you follow 100%. So we're going to leave it up to you, and we're going to say you get to pick whatever you want to follow for 21 days. The reason that it's 21 days is because, 2021. Let's play on that. And number 2 is it takes 21 days to build a habit. 21 days of consistent habits, 21 days of consistency is what's going to allow you to go long term. Like I said in the beginning of this, us as coaches, we're not trying to say what's the new quick fix. We're trying to say, dude, how do you stay fit and healthy and stuff long term? That's what we're trying to accomplish, all right? So I'm going to kind of go over everything with you. All right, so the 21-day reset. It is 21 days of you picking the diet program that you want to follow. We're going to give you a Facebook group. If you haven't joined that, you should. There's going to be a lot of interaction on there. We understand that everybody's going to need support throughout this 21 days, so you're going to be able to leverage that. You're going to have a lot of video content. I'm going to do things like maybe not as long as this, but general tips and updates. Maybe we interview some people, whatever. We're going to give you some weekly emails, so every weekend you can expect, or like a Friday, Saturday, whatever, to get an email telling you, hey, here's some new tips and tricks going into the next week. Here's kind of where we're at. It's going to kind of keep you motivated, keep you on track with core principles. And that's what we're going to talk about is the core principles. We're going to go through 21 days. It's going to lead us all the way through January. So January 9th, which is today, all the way till January 30th. Great. Going into February, we're going to have the after party. In February, we're going to have the after party, all right? So what that means is you'll kind of reset. You'll have found your habits of what you want to do, what you want to hang on to, what's going to make you successful, what works for you to follow 100%, right? But you got to stick to it. You can't cheat the game. We're going to talk about that. You got to stick to it. Then in February, when we go into the after party, we're going to pick one new habit or focus or task. We'll break that down each week for 4 weeks. So the first week in February, we're going to have something. The second week in February, we're going to have something. The third week in February, we're going to keep ramping that up. We're going to also start moving this into Wodify Rise. We really are going to have that thing down and how we're going to use that. And you'll see the after party live on there along with this Facebook group and the emails and the videos and stuff. So this is a 21-day reset, but then we're going to give you an after party of 4 weeks of things to do and hang on to. Okay. So I'm going to talk to you about some of the diet choices first. I'm just going to spend a few minutes on this. You can pick whatever you want to pick, right? But I'm going to share with you with what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. All right. So here's the deal. A couple options you can pick. We sent out the strong side approved or whatever diets. One of them was Weight Watchers. Cool, man. I did Weight Watchers. I weigh less now than when I was 13. When I was 13, I was 5'5", 200 pounds, looked down, could not see my feet, and felt miserable. I had a massive unhealthy relationship with food. I looked at food as the only thing that supported me. Food was the only thing that made me feel good. Food was the only thing. Look, I'll tell you this, in second grade or however old you are, I gave this girl Amber Wiley a secret admirer note, and she found out it was me. And when she found out that it was me and it was the fat kid, she ripped it up in front of me, threw it in the trash, and I went home and I ate a bunch of cookies because that was the first time that I realized that food was the thing that made me feel good. I was literally eating the sleeve of cookies in my bedroom, upset at Amber Wiley, going, man, this is what's curing me right now. I don't have another outlet. And I just kept eating the cookies. And I was having that conversation in my head of like, yeah, I probably shouldn't be doing this, but you know what? This is the only thing that makes me feel good right now. And we started doing Weight Watchers. My mom, I came home from school 3 days in a row crying. And because kids are making fun of me and Amber Wiley ruined my life and whatever. So I come home on the first day of school crying because kids are poking my belly. They're calling me fat or whatever. And number one, and on the first day, my mom was like, oh, that's terrible. Kids are mean, whatever. The second day, she was like, all right, what are we going to do? Like, this is kind of weird. And then the third day, she just looked at me and she said, look, bro, are you just going to come home crying every day or are we going to do something about it? And I said, well, I guess we got to do something about it. And my mom, my whole family's overweight. My aunt died at 600 pounds. Nobody is healthy. And my mom is overweight as well. But she said, hey, I did Weight Watchers when I was a kid. How about we go to Weight Watchers? I didn't know anything else. I did it. And Weight Watchers did a good thing for me in helping me understand portion control and volumes and not looking at food as this emotional gratification for the food. It was more about like, look, dude, you get a tablespoon of mayonnaise. You don't get a gallon of mayonnaise, all right? And I, look, it's not that bad of a program. You're going to get some support meetings. If you feel like you need to do that, then great. So we sent that out as one of these Strong Side approved or recommended diets. We also talked about the RP diet. RP or Renaissance Periodization is awesome. They do diet templates, and they also have an app that you can use. And that app makes it super simple. They're a macronutrient-based diet. Macronutrients are carbs, fat, protein. So the only things that have calories are carbs, fat, protein, and alcohol. And since we don't want to live off alcohol, then it's just carbs, fat, and protein. And you measure out your volumes based on your goals. And I know when you hear that, you're like, measuring and all that. Okay, all right. I get it. It's extremely effective, but RP does a really good job of breaking the foods down for you. And they say, okay, you need to eat 40 grams of carbs. But you can pick from these things, and all these things are 40 grams of carbs. So it does a lot of the math and the equations and foods and stuff for you. They also have diet books, or they're not called diet books, they're called recipe books. And I have most of them, and I'll be willing to send them out to you guys. If you guys want to send me an email, I can send them to you. If you're not doing the RP program, I don't know how much it'll help, but if you are, I can send those to you. They're like 80, $100 each, and I got them for you. I'll just give them to you for free. But there's that. But we've had a lot of our members do RP. A lot of people see success with it. The RP also has a really good Facebook group that they have a lot of support on. And there's a lot of good content on there. I did RP for 2-3 years. Maybe not that long, maybe like 2 years, but it was really, really solid. So we have Weight Watchers. We have RP. I also threw out, now you can always follow my book. My book is a nutrition program. Hey, but that's a good little plug there. And these are available at the front desk as an autographed copy. And my book is a macronutrient-based book, similar to RP. It's just that you don't get like a diet template, right? I also threw out Whole30. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to share that with you on what I plan to do. So I like Whole30. I've done it one time. Me and Kim, my wife, did it together, and we did it one time, and man, that thing was hard. But so the Whole30 attracted me for 2 reasons. Okay, so keep in mind, you don't only have to do this. You can do whatever diet you want to do, right? You need to stick to something for 21 days. That's what you got to do. You got to stick to something at 100% for 21 days. That's what we're trying to do. But I'm gonna do Whole30. I'm gonna start it. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm starting tomorrow. I'm not starting today because I was at this conference the last 2 days. I didn't get to go grocery shopping. I'm gonna try to get some grocery shopping done today or tomorrow. So I'm starting a day late. I'm just gonna be real with you, all right? But I'm gonna go throughout the whole deal. All right. So the Whole30 turned me on originally for 2 reasons. Number one is it's a food elimination diet. Food elimination diets are really, really good. So a food elimination diet exits all the junk and then you slowly wean the things back in. That actually has more research. If you're looking for food sensitivities, it can sometimes find more food sensitivities than an actual blood work test, just because you're actually introducing the food back in. So there's a lot of value there. A lot of times people eat foods, they don't understand why they don't feel good, or, I get off when I eat this. It helps you find it. The Whole30 is actually 40 days long, but you do the elimination for 30 and then slowly wean things back in for 10. And you really start exiting all the junk from your diet. I think I eat pretty clean. I meal prep. If you guys have seen me eat my cold salmon and vegetables and all that stuff, I don't have a lot of junk. But when you really do the Whole30, or really anything, you'll do Weight Watchers and think that your portion sizes are fine, and then you're like, oh my God, when you do it. And so every diet has its little leverage points, right? But the Whole30 allowed me to really take all the junk out of my diet, and it allowed me to dial in what works well for me. Like, I get really tired eating breads and starches and grains, and it just makes me need like another cup of coffee, and it just shows me that, and I really liked it. And for me, it's just going to be a nice reset for me. 2020 was crazy for me too, and going into 2021, me personally, I feel like I need a little bit more discipline. I feel like I give 100% to Strong Side. I give 100% to the classes that I teach. But I need to be leading from the front, right? There's a difference between saying, there's a difference between leading from the front and showing the way. There's a big difference. And leading from the front is like running really far, or having a diet or whatever. Showing the way is having more discipline. And I feel like there's some areas that I'm personally lacking discipline in, whether it's how consistent I work out or how much I cheat on my diet, quote unquote cheat. Or just, I think for me, the Whole30 is going to allow me to fill that void of the discipline that I feel like I'm going to eliminate a bunch of stuff. I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to do this plan for 30 days. And the reason I'm sharing that with you is that's how I would encourage you to pick whatever you're going to do. Whatever you're feeling like the gap is that you need to fill or would best support you. Like for me, I just don't feel like I'm being my best me right now. I don't believe in work-life balance. I don't think that works, especially now with everything being virtual and online. But I think there's work-life harmony. And what that means is that when you say balance, you're saying that one is more important or less important than the other, and one might be off. When you say harmony, you're trying to get them to work together. You're trying to get them to flow. And especially now, since we all live at work because we work at home, or you're somebody like me who's obsessed with their task, and I would give the shirt off my back and my last meal to any member here because everybody's so important to me, right? And I just feel like the Whole30 is going to help me reset. It's actually less about the food that I'd be eating and more about, I just feel like I need this for 30 days to dial into that for 2021. And look, I'm human just like you're human. I'm just trying to share with you my story. So I'm going to be doing that. But above all, I think that you can, let me see if I can Google this while I'm talking about it, because I meant to Google it ahead of time, I think above all, there's a quote from the lady who started Whole30. And there's I can't multitask. There's a quote from the lady who started Whole30 that really turned me on to the Whole30. Yep, found it. So first off, she has a lot of experience in CrossFit and training and having addictions and stuff, and she's overcoming eating disorders and I believe a drug addiction. Her and her ex-husband, they went through like this divorce while they were creating the Whole30. Like, she's got a really great story. If you guys have ever heard of Rob Wolf, he wrote the Paleo Solution. He owned one of the first CrossFit affiliates before he was blacklisted from CrossFit for creating program design. Terrible, but him and James Fitzgerald, which is another guy, they all got blacklisted and stuff. But she used to work with Rob Wolf and do a lot of his nutrition consulting and stuff. I mean, really great. But she came out with this quote, and if you read the Whole30 book, it's like in the beginning. And I was like, this chick's awesome. I want to follow this. I don't care what diet program you're doing. You need to live by this, all right? I don't care what you're doing, because it's going to get hard. And if you're doing the Whole30, day like 15 gets stupid hard. Any diet program, you're going to be 3 days. You will be 3 days into whatever you're about to do, and you're going to hate life. And you're going to go, this is stupid. And you're going to try to create all these reasons on why you don't need to do this. Okay, check this out. She said, So it's all about, it starts with food, right? She goes, "It is not hard. Don't you dare tell us this is hard. Quitting heroin is hard. Beating cancer is hard. Drinking your coffee black is not hard." And I love that. And I was like, dang, dude, this lady is awesome. Because look, it's going to be hard. Whatever program you're doing is going to be hard. And it is hard to not be where you want to be in life. It is hard to be overweight. I know I hated it. I hated every bit of being overweight. I hated how much I hated myself. I hated being on the Little League baseball team, and no matter how hard I tried, I was always last running. I hated sitting on the bench. Like, everything that you can't do, you're going to hate. You're also going to hate how hard it is to get where you want to go. So it's going to be hard. It can be hard to not reach your goals. It can be hard to reach your goals. Pick your hard. That's what you're trying to do. Pick your hard. Now, everything that you're going to do is going to get really challenging. And Lori is correct. She said, you hate yourself every day on the Whole 30. Yep, we're looking for day 31, baby. The Whole 30 is challenging, all right? So hopefully you got that down. Hopefully you're like, okay, I get it. I need to pick a nutrition program for me. I need to pick what's going to fill my void. Ask yourself what you're missing. Reach out to me. Let's talk. I'm not just a Facebook video. We are your coaches. Come see me, come see Ashley, come see Carrie or Alex or Nate or somebody. And let's just talk, man. All right, so there's that. You got any more questions on that? Put it in the comments. I'll answer it. Now let's talk about the fun stuff. Okay, I want to talk to you about this habit tracker. So my new best friend is Jason Kalipa over at NC Fit. We've developed a really good relationship over the past couple of years. I got to spend some time with him out in California. He's got some really great gyms out there. He does a lot of stuff globally. And yeah, so here's the deal. The habit tracker, all right? They developed this. They put this out, and I was like, bro, I need to get access to this. This is really good. It's a great visual. So you were emailed this. I will re-email that out today when I send this video as well. But here's what the 21-day habit tracker is. This is technically 30 days long, all right? So the habit tracker is. We're going for 21 days. Totally get it. You can go 30 days on this habit tracker. It's theirs. I didn't make it, right? But it's 30 days. But I want you to be very committed to doing this habit tracker for 21 days. Okay, page 1. If you can see it, is, oh no, it's stuck, is your habit tracker, all right? Day 2, or I'm sorry, page 2 is all the suggestions, and then page 3 is what a completed document should look like. Okay, here's what you're gonna do. On the left side, it gives you 6 options on the top left, right here under the word habit, all right? You do not have to do 6. You can do 1, you can do 2, you can do 3, whatever you want to do. I would at least try for 3. I wouldn't do 1 or 2. I'd at least try for 3. And you don't have to do, you don't want to just find stuff. You don't want to be like, oh, I'm going to do this because it's a habit. Like, you just figure some stuff out. Between 3 to 6 would be awesome. Every day, you get to check off what that is. And you're trying to go all the way around the circle for, in this case, 30, or in our case, 21 days, right? You can have your notes over here. You can have your month goals over here. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to check stuff off. Look, this stuff is not contrite. Nutrition and fitness punch you in the mouth. And they punch you in the mouth because you can't hide behind it. You can hide behind a lot of things in life. One day, I'm going to lose 20 pounds. Maybe. And then you don't, and then you can hide behind it and you can blame it on something else, right? That's how we never reach goals. The habit tracker. This doesn't need to be a good idea. I am going to drink half my body weight in ounces every day. Great, measure it. Can you measure it? Can you check it off? I'm going to sleep 7 hours every night. Great, can you measure it? Can you check it off? I'm going to eat 3 servings of vegetables every single day. Great, can you check it off? What am I not doing? I'm not saying things like eat better, sleep more, work out a lot. That doesn't mean anything. Work out. Great. Can you do a workout every day? Let's define a workout as something that's 25 minutes or greater. At Strong Side, we want you getting out of breath 25 minutes or more every single day. A lot of good stuff on that. But can you do that? Can you check this off every single day? That's what the habit tracker is. It's building something. 50 push-ups. Great. Cool. Can you do 50 push-ups every day? Like, I'm just throwing stuff out there, right? But what am I able to do? I'm able to check it off. I'm able to measure it. I'm able to say, did this actually happen? Not just a good idea. A goal needs a deadline. A goal without a deadline is just a good idea. So when you have your goals over here, whoops, you're going to have habits to be able to reach those goals. Maybe you need to meditate. Maybe you need to calm the F down. Okay, great. You're going to meditate. Maybe you want to freaking, I don't know, walk. 10,000 steps a day. Pick something out. It needs to be measurable, right? It should go towards your goals, but it should be measurable. Otherwise, at the end of this, you're not going to be able to build a habit. Because if you say eat better, and then at the end of it, how are you going to build a habit to eat better? What does that mean, right? I need to be able to check that stuff off. Okay, so that's the habit tracker. I would strongly encourage you to use it. I would encourage you to get all 21 days. I want to see you guys post some pictures inside this Facebook group. See if you guys can post pictures of, hey, I'm 10 days in. I'm 10 days in. I got 3 of my 5 habit trackers, or 3 of my 5 habits. I've hit all 10 days. I messed up on these 2. Only got 8 out of 10. That's still pretty good, but at least you're being real. Like, share your story. Something is on my neck. What is, God? But anyways, so there's that. Okay. But habit tracker. Now I want to talk to you about your Dexa scan. All right. So I have the most attractive Dexa scan ever. This best looking Dexa scan, guys. Sorry, this is my wife. This is Kim's Dexa scan, and it's looking pretty good. All right, so that's a good looking Dexa scan, Kim. All right, but she loves it when I do stupid stuff like this. All right, so here's the deal. If you guys did the Dexa scan, I'm going to give you just a brief overview of what this would be. All right, I got this and I think one more thing to go over here. If you did not do the Dexa scan, they are coming out tomorrow, which is Sunday. I'm going to include the link in this video. So if you're watching this on Saturday night or if you're watching it live right now, you'll get the link to be able to sign up tomorrow because we filled all those spots up on Saturday. Okay, the Dexa scan. Why do we even bring these guys out? Like I said in the beginning, we've done a lot of things to screw up in the past. I'm not saying every time, but we've just done a lot, right? One thing that we've never really done a good job with is giving people a tool to measure their success. Whether that success was weight or measurements, we kind of left it on you. We never provided something. And this was a great way to kind of bridge that gap, giving you something that you could use to measure your success beginning to end. All right, so there's that. There's hydrostatic weighing and all that, but the reason that I like the Dexa scan is you can see a couple different types of your fat. You can see your bone density, your muscle mass, and we're going to review that. I know you guys got a little bit yesterday. I'm going to give you a little bit today. If you haven't done it, maybe it builds some value and why you would want to get it done. Okay, so you have this main sheet up here, right? You have, where am I at? I'm backwards. You have you. And then you have like all these numbers right here. What do they mean? Okay, this Dexa scan is basically an x-ray of your body. So you lay down, it goes all the way over you. I don't know if it makes that noise. And it goes over your whole body. And it's basically seeing an image based on density and which things are most or least dense. And that's how it would tell you the difference between like your fat and your muscle and your bones and all that stuff. Okay. Up top, it is going to tell you your total body fat percentage, and then it's going to tell you total muscle mass, fat mass, lean mass, and bone minerals and stuff like that. And then below that, it's going to tell you the healthy range of where you want to be in percentage of fat mass. Because percentage of fat mass really matters because weight doesn't necessarily matter. What is weight? You always have to ask that question. If I filled up this phone with sand or water or cement or muscle mass or fat, they would all weigh different amounts, right? In volume, muscle weighs 4 times more than fat. So we're very concerned about the percentage of your body that would be fat. Now it also tells you on here the 2 types of fat. There are 2 types of fat, subcutaneous and visceral. All right, subcutaneous is the squishy fat. That's, probably around like your triceps, or it could be on your belly or your legs. That's the squishy fat. I'm not saying that you should have it. I'm just saying that's less dangerous. All right, visceral fat is the dangerous fat. The visceral fat is the hard fat that is usually in the midsection, and it starts building around the arteries. That's what makes it so dangerous. It goes around the organs and the arteries, and it can produce or cause things like a non-alcoholic fatty liver. Most people are familiar with an alcoholic fatty liver. You drink a whole lot of alcohol, there's sugar and alcohol, your liver becomes really fat. So every time you take something in your mouth to detoxify your body, it goes through the liver first. And that's why the alcohol goes to the liver. Well, the liver tries to metabolize it, blah, 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 a bunch of bad things happen, and it stores all this fat around the liver. And then the liver dies. Sounds terrible. Well, there's also a non-alcoholic fatty liver, meaning that you get fat all around the liver and it starts to kill the liver from non-alcoholic causes. What are those causes? Carbohydrates and sugar. So having diets that are very high in carbs or very high in sugar would give you a non-alcoholic fatty liver. We just crossed a couple years ago the first time where we are doing more liver transplants for non-alcoholic fatty livers than we are for alcoholic fatty livers. So more people are having problems with their liver, getting surgery to replace it, going into getting jaundice and all that, and dying from non-alcoholic fatty livers. And a lot of that has to do with the type of fat. So this visceral fat will spread through the organs, suffocate the organs. It'll put stress on the organs and make them have to work harder to get the job done. And they get very, very tired. All right. So there's that. You don't want a lot of visceral fat. That visceral fat is also what raises the triglycerides. And a triglyceride is 3 fatty acids bonded to a glycerin molecule. So it looks like this. And you can't burn fat when that's happening. You need to disperse these fatty acids throughout your body to metabolize fat. So it's actually harder for somebody to lose weight that has visceral fat. You need to break that visceral fat into subcutaneous fat by eating a diet that is lower in carbohydrates, probably 40% or lower, and sugar. You want to talk about getting on one of these diet programs? You know what these diet programs are going to do and why they suck so bad is because you're probably going to consume less than 50 grams of sugar per day. You should consume, on average, less than 50 grams of sugar in an entire day. Sugar follows the same biochemical pathways as cocaine, so the withdrawals that you have are real. And your body's like, what is happening? I have to have a Snickers. Like, no, you don't, dude. It's just that's what's happening right now. It takes a while to retrain your body that it doesn't need all that sugar and it doesn't need to have its blood sugar up here. So that's a big deal, knowing your subcutaneous and visceral fat. It'll also show you the muscle mass and fat mass per side of your body. So when we look at this and what it's scanning, so let's look at osteoporosis. So we want to know how healthy your bones are. Strength training is a big deal. When you can press the spine through like a back squat, for example, and you push it down, it sends signals to all of the bones. Your brain sends signals to all of the bones to recalcify. When you're lifting, your bones bend. They have to bend or else they'd break. And they bend up to 1/10 the point of fracturing. And when they bend and they pull back, and they bend and then they pull back, very similar to a barbell, like you know how you lift it and it has that whip to it, and they bend and then come back. Your brain is then sending signals to it to calcify and rebuild stronger. Well, if you don't do that, if you don't put stress on your body, if your bones aren't dense and healthy, then you can start getting this osteoporosis, where as you get older, then your bone density starts to drop down. Let's say you were to break your hip. It's something like, if you break your hip, 80% of the deaths after a hip break are from complications from things like surgery and lack of a healing ability, not necessarily the broken hip that you got from falling as you get older, because the body's not healthy enough to support all the regeneration and rehab and everything that you have to do. Strong bones is a huge deal, and it starts now, being able to bend and contract and bend and contract and put more stress on your body. You want that negative or that positive stress on your body to rebuild your bones. Because really what we're trying to do is we're trying to preserve functional capacity. We're trying to say, okay, how are you 70 with the body of a 60-year-old? How are you 60 with the body of a 40-year-old? 50 with the body of a 40-year-old? I think I just said that. 40 with the body of a 30-year-old, so on and so forth. You're trying to preserve that. And the Dexa Scan will let you know where you're at. How am I constantly putting pressure on my spine? Am I working my bones enough? How soluble are these things? Okay. There's that. So it'll tell you and then I also said on each side. So it'll tell you on each side as well, because we'll often see things like chronic discomfort or chronic ailments or injuries. So acute is some of the time, chronic is all the time. And often people come in and they say, I've never had a surgery, but I have a bad shoulder. I've never done anything, but I have a bad wrist, my hands or whatever. And a lot of that is through movement patterns. And when you're moving incorrectly for an extended period of time, your body creates dominancies, and it puts these dominancies on certain parts of your body that can no longer support. And that's why we need to know how much muscle mass is on one side than the other. The remaining pages just kind of walk you through more and more. I was trying to see if there's another page that I wanted to point out. No, there's that. The biggest thing is knowing the three things I just talked about: muscle mass, fat mass, and bone density. You also want more muscle mass and knowing how much muscle mass, because you can burn more at rest. I mean, in all honesty, your workouts are an hour, right? Who cares how many calories you burn in the hour? What really matters is how many calories can I burn the 23 hours a day that I'm not exercising, right? And the more muscle mass you have, the higher your thermic burn is going to be. So you're going to sit there and burn more calories than normal for an extended period of time. And the Dexa Scan will allow you to see your progress, because you're going to commit to 21 days. You're going to commit to 21 days of good habits. You're going to commit to 21 days of good eating. You're going to commit to 21 days of no alcohol. Put that on your habit sheet, maybe. You're going to commit to like all that stuff, right? How do we measure beginning to end? Other than I feel better and I look better and things are great. The Dexa Scan, you'd be able to do that beginning, end, and you'd be able to see some sort of progress throughout that deal. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn it over to any questions. All right. All you got to do is comment below, and as the questions come up, I'll answer them. If none come up, well, then it's over. I'm going to, I guess, talk for a little bit, unless you guys have questions. But go away. Fire away right now. Any questions that you have, we'll answer. Get the sucker rocking and rolling. All right. But as you guys are picking what you want to do, so comment your questions. I'm just going to talk. All right. As you guys are picking what you want to do in your diet program, I would go read some reviews, not necessarily in the diet, but how people felt. There's a lot of good information on YouTube, and that is www.youtube.com. And you can just watch people give their feedback or their analysis on a certain program and how they felt doing Weight Watchers or RP or the Whole30 or Jenny Craig. I don't know. Is that still going on? Just something, right? And Elizabeth said, I would like to sign up for the scan tomorrow. I'm going to email you guys today, and that link will be in there, and you will have all the information that you need for the Dexa Scan. I believe they're coming out 9 to 1. Amber's completely set up and run that whole thing. She will be here tomorrow as well to make sure that it flows really well. And then Diane Dawkins, how do I sign up for the Dexa Scan? Deanna Quinn, need Dexa Scan also. All right, so email coming tonight. If you didn't get the email that I sent on Tuesday, then let me know, because that means you're not on the email list. But I will send that out again today with a link to sign up for the Dexa Scan. And then Amy just said, how can we download the tracker? That should have been in the email that you got on Tuesday. If you didn't get this email, let me know. But I will resend that out again today. I'll include all that information. And there's a picture of the habit tracker, and then there's some content about it, and there's a little blue link that says, or a little blue whatever shape that says download tracker here. You click on it, and then you can download and print out the tracker. It's just 3 sheets, and you can follow your habit tracker for 21 days. Sounds like a lot of people are going to be getting Dexed tomorrow. That's what we should do. That's what we should call it. Getting Dexed. Yeah. With an apostrophe. Dexed. Let's see. Elizabeth said, I would like an email on the scan. Hey, if you guys, all right, so we got, if you guys didn't get the email for whatever reason, my email is just Mitchel@the-strongside.com. Remember, my name has 1 L, all right? My mom's weird. I got 1 L in my name. And Mitchel@the-strongside.com. And, Diane said, thanks for your dedication to your peeps. Love you guys. You're freaking awesome. Love you, Diane. All right. So, Elizabeth Case, what is the best way to get the Whole30 program? So, I'm pretty sure that you can go to thewhole30.com, and I'm not even making that up, like literally thewhole30.com, and you can download, I'm sure they have some sort of PDF or whatever. Its main consumption is in a book, and I would assume that they have an ebook. I just like physical books, so I know we have the physical book. Uh, and then my wife just commented on there and she said, we have the book. That is correct. And, but we have it online too. But yeah, I would go to thewhole30.com. I know they have different Facebook groups. They have the ebook, and then they have, did I just call it an online book? How old am I? Ebook, online book. And, but yeah, you can get the book as well. Ooh, dude. And yeah, Coach Alex. So I know Janelle just posted this. Coach Alex is a great resource. Her email is alex at the-strongside.com. Remember, there's a dash, the-strongside.com. Alex at the-strongside.com. She's, dude, Whole30 champ. She turned me on to it. And Lori, who's commented a lot, she's done it 3 times, I think, with her husband. And yeah, but now, dude, and as long as we're talking about that, and I'll answer that in a second. The Whole30 is no joke with, I mean, it's stinking hard, but you got to pick your hard. And I think that it allows you to eliminate a lot of junk from your diet. You don't realize how much junk is actually in your diet. But it's good, man. And I'll be dying with you. I'll post some updates in this group. Probably going to get a little baggy and droopy under the eyes and stuff, but it works. It's a good intestine cleaner outer too. Yeah, so Adam said, hey, once we get the scan, can we sit down with you individually and go over those areas? Deanna Quinn said the email was titled The Great Reset. Thank you so much. Yeah, look for that in your email. So Adam said, hey, can we sit down with you individually and go over questions? Yeah, absolutely. Like with your Dexa scan. You're looking at 3 to 5 minutes. If you give me a heads up, I can talk to you about it in between class. This is not something that we have to schedule like 30 minutes or an hour for. But there's different things you can do. So meaning that like once you know this stuff and you're like, okay, how do I impact or grow these things? Like if somebody had really low bone density, you would need them lifting a lot. That doesn't mean overdo it, like killing them. It should be an indicator that you are not sick yet. What strength training exercises could I do and focus on? It'll also show you if there's any weak spots in the bones and things that you should maybe focus on or steer clear of. When you're looking at muscle mass, that's a big deal, but the big thing is fat mass. If somebody has more visceral fat or more subcutaneous fat, what dietary indicators and workout indicators should they do? And we can talk about that. I'm going to resend out that Dexa scan link again today as well. But yeah, if you guys got any more questions, comment them below and I will answer them. We got a couple minutes left. But I'm excited. I mean, most of you guys have stayed with this live stream the entire time, which is great. I mean, I can't see who it is, but I can see the number. And it means that you're really interested. I think that's good. And if I had to pick one last thing to say, I mean, unless somebody has a question or whatever, it's going to be challenging. But that's why you're in a group, right? This is hard. You're weighing like the physical task with the emotional task, right? You got to really look at why people come to the gym. Why do people join a gym? This is myself included, because we're not satisfied with where we're at, right? That doesn't mean that you hate yourself. It just means that we're all probably a little type A and we're all trying to get a little bit better. And we're trying to get 1% better every day. And when you understand that people come into a gym to get better, they're at a workout program to get better, they're doing a diet program to get better, it's a long-term game. And it's gonna be challenging. And it is way harder to be very uncomfortable with where you're at and not be where you want to go than you just got to like push yourself into that next level or whatever you want to call it. And there's going to be a lot of resistance. This isn't normal. What you guys are doing is not normal. It is easier to go to fast food. Your friends are going to say, well, it's so-and-so's birthday and you should really go out for that. And you can stay up late. And do you really need to get up early and do that workout? And they do that because they don't understand it, or the world in general. Like the TV commercials you get, the articles that come up, everybody's competing to be your favorite cheat meal, looking at food as social gatherings and all that. You can have fun doing other things, right? I'm just trying to paint you a picture that the reason that we're in a group right now is so everybody can latch arms together and say, look, I've committed to the next 21 days to be my best self, because I know that if I'm not my best self, I can't do anything for anybody else. And numero uno over here needs to feel really good moving forward, and just have a great mental mindset going into it. Chrissy just said detoxing is no joke, but worth it. Yeah, absolutely. I remember the first time I did Whole30 or anything. I don't care what you're doing. Whatever you're doing, you're about to do dietary changes. You go through the first couple of days of like, ugh, and it's really challenging, and you're probably gonna have to change. You'll buy different things at the grocery store, whatever. Adam just said, hey, if you're on Instagram, go follow Coach Alex's Power Clean Eats. That's true. Coach Alex just post her whole life of food on there. Hopefully she's listening right now, but she's got good recipes, good tips and stuff. And she does what, like what I was trying to do at the beginning of this, just shares her stories, her struggles, good resource, a lot of good information. And there's that. Let's see if we got one more question maybe. Hey, but if not, if we don't have any more questions, I'm really excited for you guys. Maybe post in the group at some point today what you're doing. Post some pictures of you at the grocery store. Post what diet you plan to follow. Help somebody out who's struggling. Maybe you get you like a diet buddy, and you're like, hey, this is what I'm struggling with. This is what I need help with. Whatever, work together on some stuff. Let's just have a good time. All right. So, hey, look, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks for tuning in. This video and all the other content will be sent out. I hope I answered any questions that you might have. I am constantly here for you. Sweet. Amy, so if you guys look in the comments, what Amy just wrote, this is why we're in a group. I can't really answer that right now, but this is like, we need to find some buddies, right? Like, I'm unsure about which diet program to follow. I'm having anxiety about it. I don't know what to do, right? We're not taught this stuff. This is not something that we're taught in school and then prepared for life. No, we're all learning something new, right? We're all taking on a different task. So somebody reach out to Amy. Let's connect. Let's make this happen. Say, look, hey, I'm struggling too. What are you thinking about doing? I'm about to go back to work on Monday, whatever. Let's work this out together. We need diet buddies. We need some friends. We need some help. All right. That's what Strong Side's all about, is a community of support and a community of people coming together saying, hey, let's take the next step. Let's be better together. All right. So I hope you have a great Saturday. You can email me, Mitchel, that's 1L, at the-strongside.com. If you didn't get anything, I will email this out today, and let's get rocking and rolling, guys. I'm excited for you. It's going to be good.